CIPA? I think I've heard about this before. Dr. John?
One eternity later.
Hey, why is this happening to me?
Hi guys! Shut up, what's taking you so long?
What is that you're holding? Wait, have you guys heard about K-drama Dr. John?
Yes, I love that drama. I think I know that episode.
Remember that disease?
CIPA. What is that disease? Never heard about it before. What is it about?
Based on this poster, it stated that CIPA is a congenital insensitivity to pain with anhidrosis that caused by mutation in our genes. So basically, when we talk about gene, it is related to genetics that goes around in our family. So this disease is an inherited disease where someone with CIPA have an inability to feel pain, temperature, and also absent sweating. So when there is a lack of sweating, it will make it harder for CIPA patients to control their body temperature.
That is so cool!
What? What makes you think it is cool?
Like, you can't feel any pain. Even you get hurt, you can't feel any pain. You can actually take a bullet for someone, you know?
That's actually very ridiculous, Najwa. Don't you think that people don't feel any pain would die also somehow?
Absolutely. Well, it is very important for us to feel anything so that we become aware with our surroundings. When someone has an inability to feel pain, it will lead them to repeated severe injuries. For example, people with CIPA will frequently injure themselves unintentionally by biting their tongue, lips, or fingers that will lead them to severe bleeding and also spontaneous amputation brought on by spontaneous amputation of the affected area. Other than that, lack of sweating also can cause overheat, high fever, and also seizure that brought on by high temperature. So this high fever and also severe bleeding can lead them to death if it is left untreated. So it is very important for us to feel any pain so that people with CIPA can constantly check for cuts or bruises to avoid infection, just like Professor Cha did in the drama.
Okay, now I get it. It is important to feel pain.
That is actually weird, yet so interesting. But then, what may be the causes of this? As far as what I've searched before, CIPA is a genetic disorder inherited through autosomal recessive genes. So it's a recessive type of disease. Both parents will carry one copy of the mutated NTRK1 gene. So the gene actually responsible for producing a receptor protein. So the receptor protein will bind to the NGF-beta, that is a protein on sensory neuron surface, transmitting pain, temperature, and touch sensations. So when the NGF-beta will bind, it activates NTRK1, promoting cell growth and division, ensuring nerve cell survival. So NTRK1 gene mutation will disrupt NGF-beta function, causing the signal transmission errors. So the signal will disrupt, leads to neuronal cell apoptosis, resulting in the inability to feel pain and temperature. So patient with CIPA actually cannot feel anything.
So it can be genetic disease, right?
Yes.
The symptoms is quite easy to detect as and they usually appear at birth or during infancy actually. The patient of CIPA heals slowly from skin and bone injury, which can lead to other problems such as bone infection. It is so sad. From the name of itself, like anhidrosis. Anhidrosis means that the people doesn't sweat. So the patient of CIPA doesn't sweat. As we all know, sweat is important for us, right? So
to reduce our temperature of our body, right? So then they don't have that mechanism. So which can lead to the high temperature, and just like what Ati said, people with IPA usually have like severe fever and so on. So yeah,
And most individuals of CIPA have thick leathery skin on their palms, and misshapen fingernails or toenails result from constant friction and pressure, as they cannot feel pain to signal when to ease the pressure. Some of them also have patches on their scalp. Just on their patches, the hair doesn't grow. So basically, they have like some bald spot on their head. And that's me. Say here. The people also have hyperactivity and emotional instability, and many of them have intellectual disabilities, which is, for me, I think it's hard for adapt with the society. It is sad for them.
That is true. And I also think that I've seen kind of similar trait in the scene of Dr. John. Who you guys
주고 내부 장기가 터져도 통증을 전혀 느낄 수가 없는 Congenital insensitivity to pain with anhidrosis CIPA 환자야.
내 몸 안엔 언제 터질지 모르는 시한폭탄이 있는 거나 마찬가지라고. 그래서 나 같은 환자들 20년 넘게 살기 힘들다고. 아무것도 못 느끼고 산다는 게 뭔지 모르니까, 그러니까 예전으로 돌아가라고 쉽게 말할 수 있는 거라고.
But I kind of wonder if there's any prevention or cure to these rare diseases, because I just wonder.
Wait, that's interesting. But it says here there's no cure for now. But then there's a few preventions, such as that the patient has to constantly check for cuts, bruises, self-mutilation, and other possible other injuries. Next, it says that educating patients about injury prevention, self-check protocols, and promote treatment for any identified injuries. And also, it stated that the individuals with CIPA may have difficulty regulating body temperature due to the inability to sweat, and it is actually crucial to stay well hydrated and avoid overheating, especially in hot environments. There's something new for me.
It is sad actually that they have no cure. But I guess it's always the best prevention. Prevention is always the best cure actually.
Since this disease is quite rare, I wonder, do people in Malaysia have this type of disease?
That's a good question.
While you guys were talking, I was also searching for the cases, and I found that there is actually one cases where it happens in Malaysia, and it is first reported in 1999. And actually, the whole siblings were affected with CIPA, but the most affected one is the youngest, and the least affected one is the oldest. And there is actually some of the evidence shown about their bruises and their affected areas. But since this disease is very rare, so it's hard to see a Malaysian to have this disease. There's actually also a 5-year-old Chinese boy was diagnosed with CIPA after they did a genetic test, and actually it is true that there is indeed a mutation of NTRK1 gene, which this boy inherited from his father and mother. And there's also 4 children that refer to the pediatrics department, as these children had no pain sensation despite of them having a deep sore and infection. And you guys know what? This disease is very rare, that it's only affected 1 in 125 million people. That's very rare, right? And
Ratio, wow.
and the sad thing is, most of the patient does not live over the age of 25. That's very sad.
That is so
It's like in the scene, right?
Yes, there's in the scene where the Dr. John said that these kind of people doesn't live that long because they think that CIPA is like ticking bombs inside of their body, because they don't know when are they going to die because of the cuts, the bruises. That's very sad actually.
Guys, I think it's getting late now, so I think we need to go back to our home. Wherever it is, I'm glad that we talk about CIPA. But we should do this more often, guys.
Yeah.
It's so fun, right?
I think that Najwa, you should watch this K-drama, because I think it's
Very
I recommend it. Yes, please watch it.
I'm putting my
This
watching.
you can gain knowledge.
I will. Thank you for the recommendation.
We should go back. anhidrosis.